Today, I want to answer the question I know everybody's been asking, and that's whether toddlers can teach us anything about habit change. And the answer here is, well, no, they can't. Not directly. A toddler can't teach us anything. But they also can because we can observe them. And even the word toddler gives us a hint about change. Now, most people think change is a linear thing. I am in a current state of being and I want to be in a new state of being. It's just a matter of making a shift to that. So when it comes to using your phone too much, I want to stop using my phone. So it's a matter of just saying, I'm using my phone today. Tomorrow, I'm never going to use my phone again, or I'm not going to scroll, or I'm going to delete Facebook or delete Instagram or whatever it is. Well, the reality is that doesn't work very often. And there's serious pitfalls in the cold turkey method because it assumes that habit change, is a linear process. And it's not. It's actually iterative. And let's go back to the toddler. A toddler wants to walk. So before they were a toddler, they were just a little kid crawling on the ground. And what they want is, because they see other people walking around, they want to walk. So what do? They don't just immediately stand up and start to walk. No, first they need to learn to pull themselves up. Then they might try to take a step but completely fail. Then they might start to shuffle along a couch or a table and hold on. They're still not walking yet. Well, even when they finally let go and take their first few steps, we might say, oh, they're walking, they just walked. But really, we don't call them a walker, we call them a toddler. And we call them a toddler for a reason, because we know that this is a mid-range behavior before they become full-fledged walkers. And some kids pick it up faster than others, and others spend a lot more time toddling around. There's still others that just crawl for a long time before they put everything together. But what they're teaching us is that failure's part of the process, right? Every little failure that the child has is just in their quest to get to their final outcome of walking around. And that's what habit change and change in general is. It's an iterative process. It's a cycle of cycles until you get where you want to be. So it's not about saying, I want to delete TikTok and stop using it. No, it's about what are the incremental steps that you need to take to get to where you want to be, to that final goal. Because making that big shift, it's just really, really hard and challenging. I know firsthand. I tried to delete apps and I would just reinstall them and things like that. And that's kind of fighting a losing battle for a lot of us. And so the real pathway is about making small little experiments and then seeing what happens. So take the big change you want to make and you say, well, what's the next thing? How do I get a little bit better tomorrow? And then if that works, how do I get a little bit better the next day? And it's about taking these small experiments with habit change until we figure out what works. Because what works for me isn't going to work for you, and it's not going to work for another person. There might be some things that we can pick here and there that are going to work, but overall, we've got our own lived experiences. We've got our own habits. We're in our own situations and our own relationships. And there's no one size fits all. And it's about taking those incremental steps to get to where you want to be, just like a toddler would. What works for one kid doesn't work for another. And if you've had more than one kid, you'll know this, or if you've been around children, you might have seen this. And it's no different for habit change. It's the same process, iterative process, making small experiments, assessing how those experiments went, making small adjustments until all of a sudden it looks like overnight success, but really it took a lot of effort over a long period of time with lots of starts and stops. And so those failures, what I say is feedback is the fuel for the engine of change, and failure is a type of feedback. It's valuable feedback that we need. And so in a way, failure is the fuel that we need for that engine of change. And so if you're trying to make any change in your life, whether it's scrolling on your phone, overeating, trying to get better sleep, whatever it is, don't get too caught up in your failures. Use those failures as data points to feed back into the cycle of change. Every failure is a progression towards your ultimate goal. You just need to keep getting up and keep failing, essentially, until you succeed. Fail, then win. That's kind of the message. Fail, then win. And it might take a lot of failures to get to where you're going, but there's really no other way to do it. That's the way, for me, that you get to any meaningful change. It's going to take a lot of different cycles to get there. That's all I have for today. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. You probably already clicked off the video now, but it's a great signal for me as a new creator. If you know of anyone else dealing with habit change, scrolling on their phone, anything, let them know I'm here and I'm committed to helping them. Until next time, I appreciate you. Bye.